The old seatbelt there, keep it safe when you're sitting in Dublin traffic. Oh, Jeannie Mac, I don't know how you do it. Southsiders, Westsiders, whatever. Gotta get out to North County. We're not used to this traffic gridlock. But anyway, I'm sitting in traffic, so I said I'd hop on, do an old video, have a chat to you. I'm gonna talk basics. Since we're starting to creep into a new market cycle, Bitcoin is halving, is getting ever closer. We get a new cohort of people who have to come in and make all the mistakes that we inevitably made whenever we came into this space. And my job, well, I've decided it's my job, is to push out content to try help people make less mistakes. And obviously, you can retire early then. That's our tagline in Bitcoin With Dinny. Retire early. That's why we have Retire Early Club. That's why we do consulting. So, if you're new to the channel, come in there. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Make sure you subscribe, stay in tune. I'm just in the camper van now. My motorbike's still on the back. I was like, feck, I haven't checked. Yeah, I'm out in West Dublin now, lads. She could disappear there fairly lively. So yeah, just in the camper here, just picking up the bike and heading back home. It was getting a bit of work done. So today what I want to talk to you about is Bitcoin. Like, where does your money go when you put it into Bitcoin? Who owns Bitcoin? Who has, if I buy Bitcoin, who have I gave my money to? Who's the controller of Bitcoin? These are the questions that my dad would ask, and we have a lot of conversations about this. And therefore, I'm sure my dad's no mug. A lot of people don't get this. And that's what I'm sort of going to talk about. Now, some of you guys, this will be too basic for you, but then again, maybe some of you guys might get some benefit of it. All I ask you to do is hit the like button, and if you think there's benefit for people who are new to the space, share it, comment. It helps the algorithm, it pushes it out there. Remember, the European Central Bank does not want you to understand Bitcoin. If you had understood Bitcoin as well as me, you would have given up work long ago. Your life would be much better, okay? The fact that you don't, that's their brainwashing. My job is to get the correct information out there, all right? And if every human on the planet understood Bitcoin, we wouldn't have poverty, we wouldn't have wars. No, not we wouldn't have wars. We've always had wars, but we certainly would have less. The money wouldn't be as much the cause of it, okay? We'd have correct market signals. And that's a really bold statement for someone who's new to this space going, what are you talking about? But there's a reason us Bitcoiners come across crazy. We just have done more work, okay? And most people end up sounding a bit crazy after a few years of being in this space. When you really understand money, and you really understand politics, and you really understand macroeconomics, and you really understand the world of people who waste their whole life chasing this money thing, and then they die. That's like, what was it all for? Someone else's agenda. Screw that, guys. It's your life. Live it. So, you buy Bitcoin. Where does it go? You actually take some euros out of your bank account and you acquire some Bitcoin. What's the process? What's happened there? Well, Bitcoin is like a commodity, okay? And Bitcoin has a real world cost to produce it. Slide right, we'll have to pay attention here now. Hold on, M50 to the right, okay, lovely stuff. So there's a real world cost to producing Bitcoin. Let's say if you're buying a crypto altcoin, this way I separate. I have Bitcoin and then I have altcoins. Oh. Not up that way. Okay, because with many altcoins, the majority of them, there's no real world cost to buying them. So when you buy them, you're just giving your money to some lad who's now got your money. Okay? And he's used a bit of marketing to fool you into thinking that it's this revolutionary technology. And really it's just pumping them. So that's the majority of what goes on in the crypto space. Bitcoin is very different. Bitcoin is tethered or tied or connected to the real world. Okay? In that there's a real world cost to creating Bitcoin. So although it's a virtual or a digital asset, it's connected to the physical, to the real world. Okay? And that's unlike all the other digital tokens. They're just virtualness, and there's no tether to the real world. And basically what that means is they're backed by nothing. Okay? Whereas Bitcoin is backed by energy. You know, if any people here watch any of the gold programs on telly, and you see the lads with all the machinery and all the work they do, and burn all the fuel and all the expenses they have to mine gold. Okay, gold is also backed by energy. You can see by watching the TV programs, there's loads of lads working all week, and at the end of the week they have a bit of dust in their hand, and that pays for the whole infrastructure, the whole thing, and there's profit in it for them. Okay, so it's energy is what backs gold. That's the reason why an ounce of gold is worth $2,000. Okay, and an ounce of silver is worth 30 euros. What's the difference? It takes less energy to create silver, to mine silver. Okay, so what protects the value of the asset is the cost of energy to attack it. And by attack it, what I mean is, I invest in all sorts of assets, including gold bullion. A gold miner is my enemy, because every time they mine gold, it devalues the gold that I own. Okay? So, but the cost to attack the price of gold is the energy that it takes to create more gold. Now, hopefully you're still with me here. Alright? So when people talk about Bitcoin uses energy, when you really understand the thing, you're like, that's a good thing. That is why it is worth so much money, and why it's going to continue to suck capital out of all other financial assets, because it's the hardest thing to suck the value out of by diluting its supply. Okay? In fact, when I say the hardest, I mean it's finite, so it's actually impossible to dilute its supply. Alright? It's a fixed supply commodity. Now, humans have never had a fixed supply commodity. Ever! 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 I can roar like a lunatic here. I'm in the van on my own, I'm in the traffic, so I'll have to crack. Alright? And this is where people go wrong. Because every other financial asset, whatever you're talking about, commodity, business, anything, none of them are on fixed supply. They all work by typical market dynamics, which is supply and demand. If the demand goes up, the supply goes up. If the demand goes down, the supply goes down. Bitcoin is the first money commodity that we've had that is of fixed supply. Now this is super important. Hit the like button if you're enjoying this, if you're learning. Okay, this is so important. Okay, because, and it's a little tangent here, I'll get back to where your money goes. I've got to give you background information, and I'm as usual, Dinny can never stay on point. Dinny's never in the studio with prompters and a script. Dinny's just going off the cuff. Okay, so bear with Dinny, but I want to give you value so you understand a little bit of what I understand, and hopefully you can use the information. Okay, every other financial asset, every market, bond market, property market, gold market, precious metal market, okay, stock market, currency markets, none of them are of fixed supply. Okay, now what that means is the bigger they get, the more unstable they get. So the bigger the property market gets, if more investors pile into property, we seen this in 2008. Yous are all there, you lived through it. What happened? Use your brain. What happened? We all got gaffs. How many? 2, 3 apartment blocks. Okay? So the supply went up too much. What did it do? It made the whole market unstable. What happened then? Recession. It was fucking brilliant. Okay, because we had time to chill out. We weren't in the rat race. Okay, or it was probably painful if you lost your ass, lost your house, you're over leveraged. You know, but you understand that because the assets aren't of fixed supply, the bigger they get, the more vulnerable they get, the more unstable they get, and the more they're likely to fall apart. A fixed supply asset is 180 degrees different. It's the polar opposite. Okay? A fixed supply asset, the bigger it gets, the more stable it gets. Okay? The more secure it gets, the less instability in it. And a fixed supply asset, the bigger it gets, it's more likely to get bigger still. Okay? Because it's of fixed supply, it draws capital from all the assets that aren't of fixed supply into it. Because it's a harder form of soundness. And I'll say money, but money's a bit loose, because when you say money, people go to currency. But like, investment properties are money when you actually understand the game and how the world works. You know, bricks and mortar are money. Anyone who owns a second property, you own it because you're looking for a better source of money. Okay, we call it investment assets, but really it's just a sounder form of money. Okay, it's a sounder savings technology. Okay, and that's the same with your pension. That's why you put money in your pension versus just saving it in your bank, because you think it's a sounder form. You know, I'll argue that point when you really understand the pensions, and if you're 10 years or more away from it, I'd really be trying to figure out pensions. Come to Bitcoin Ireland 2023. We've got guys there doing a whole presentation on pensions and why you should take a deeper look at this thing, because it's a Ponzi scheme, and there just might not be the money there to pay your pension, even though you're paying into it. The money you're paying into your pension isn't saving your money, that's paying out people who are retired today. What you're relying on, when you retire in 10 years or 15 years or whatever it is that there's new people to pay into that, and that the pension managers haven't made a balls of it in the meantime, like they did in 2008 when a lot of pensions went to zero. Anyway, I'm miles off topic. Come back, Dinny. Come back. So, because Bitcoin is tethered to the real world, let me explain the process. There's a cost to mine Bitcoin. Just like, and I'll go back to gold. There's a cost to mine gold. Okay? If you want to mine, like, okay, I'll tell you what. We'll talk about gold and then we'll translate it to Bitcoin, because that's maybe the easiest thing, because I'm trying to keep this beginner focus. Super simple. When you buy gold, where does your money go? Is there someone who owns gold? Is there like the gold controller? Is there a gold company? You know, let's say you go to a bullion shop, you buy an ounce of gold there for $2,000. Where did that money go? Well, you paid the bullion shop who sold you the gold. Where did they get the gold? Well, they bought it from a bigger company who bought it from a mining company. Okay, so the miners got the gold. So do miners own gold? Does that mean gold miners are getting that $2,000 less the, you know, whatever little spread that the bullion shop put on it, 2-3%, whatever it is? No, because there's a cost to mine the gold. They had to buy the machinery, they had to buy the site, they have to pay the wages. Alright? They have to refine the gold, they have to transport it. You know, all that real world cost is in the commodity. Okay? So it's absorbed into creating the commodity, is where the money has gone. And everyone along that journey has a little spread, and that's just how markets work. That's how every business works. If you're an entrepreneur, you think you can do something and you can do it better than your competition and make a few bob with it. Okay? So you buy a gold coin. So the gold miner done all the work, he mined the gold, and it cost him, let's just say it cost him 1,900 quid. Alright? So his spread, we'll say, is €50 per ounce. Now, I don't know, these are just made up figures. His spread is €50 per ounce. Okay, it cost him 1,900 quid to mine the gold for 1,900 quid that the market says is worth $2,000. Okay, so that's his profit. His profit isn't the $2,000, his profit is the little spread after he passes on to the bullion dealer and he puts his spread on it as well. So the cost of a commodity is absorbed in creating the commodity, and then there's little fractional percentages of passing through the market. Bitcoin is the exact same. The cost to create a Bitcoin is generally in or around whatever value is on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is priced at whatever it's priced at today, I think around $29,000, that means that the cost to mine the Bitcoin was possibly $28,000. Okay, so it's not a case that a miner, you know, people who have no clue how this space works, they think, oh, there's loads of money made mining. It's like, you don't have a clue. Bitcoin mining is possibly the worst business you can go into, because it's the most competitive global business in the world. Start any other business other than Bitcoin mining, and you have a better chance of success. Bitcoin mining is one of the toughest businesses out there because it's so global. Anyone can do it anywhere in the world. You can use stranded energy, you can use free energy. Okay, so it's a super competitive market. So don't be a Bitcoin miner. It's much easier. Accumulate the bloody thing. You don't have any of the work. Okay. So when you buy Bitcoin, you're buying let's say you buy one Bitcoin. Just keep stuff simple. We'll walk this through. You buy one Bitcoin today. You send 30 grand to a broker or an exchange or wherever you buy your Bitcoin. If you need recommendation of reputable places, send me a private message. I will forward them on to you. Don't buy from unreputable places. Don't get scammed. I had a fella yesterday got scammed for 3.5 grand. You know, my premier product is 1,000 quid for me to like give you everything I know. Because I was laughing. I was like, I worked yesterday feckin' for 1,000 quid, and the scammer's got 3.5 grand. And all he does is impersonate me. Like, who's the idiot here? Maybe I should just become a scammer. You know, the market incentivizes you to be a bad actor, but we won't even talk about that. So you buy your Bitcoin today off an exchange or broker for, let's just say 30 grand. Okay, easy numbers. The exchange was 30 grand, but where did they get the Bitcoin? They had to buy it off a mining company, or, you know, but they had to buy it from a miner. Okay, so they buy the Bitcoin, all right, and they put a little spread on it. So you'll see the different exchanges, they hide the prices. So some people are like, oh yeah, this exchange is only 1% fee and this one is 3% fee, so I go to the 1% fee. What they don't understand is it's all spreads, it's all hidden in the spread. Okay, so if Bitcoin's 30 grand, if that's the over-the-counter price, all right, well the exchange is probably charging you 31,000. 31,500 maybe, depending on the exchange. Alright? And that's why you'll notice if you're on different exchanges, they all have a different Bitcoin price. All of them have a different, they'll never have the same Bitcoin price. And some of them are a lot cheaper than others. And then you realise, alright, maybe it's not the percentage fee that I need to pay attention to. I need to decide how much euros I pay and how much Bitcoin I get. That's where you get your true reflection of the value you're receiving. So, you give the exchange 30 grand, the exchange has to pay the miner where they got the Bitcoin. So that's the only place you can get Bitcoin, is from miners. Or from a market participant who sold their Bitcoin. We're talking about new coins coming into creation here. We're talking about the commodity aspect of it, not the sort of price discovery aspect, which just means the way the price is moving up a lot and down a lot sometimes. So that's where the money is gone. The money went because the miner had to buy mining equipment, they had to buy a mining site, they have to buy staff to run the mining operation and pay them, and they have to pay for electricity. And when they've paid for all that stuff, okay, that's their profit margin. So for them to mine a Bitcoin, it might have cost them $28,000. Again, they pay all their expenses and all their infrastructure and all their electricity bill. Okay, it might have cost them 28, 29 grand, and the small spread then they sell it to the exchange for 29, the exchange sells it to you for 30. Okay, and that's their business model, stable little spread. I wouldn't say it's that high actually, it's more competitive than that. What year are we in here? Now we're alright. And that is how Bitcoin is connected to the real world, just like gold is. It's a commodity. There's a real world cost to produce it, to create it. It can't be created out of fresh air. That's why it's sucking value out of all other financial assets, and it's doing it with great volatility. Which just means it's going like this. But you don't look at Bitcoin on a daily time frame. None of us do. Okay, you learn how to dollar cost average, you stack sats, and you forget about the price, and you prefer to educate yourself about how the actual asset works, how money works, how politics influences money, how politics influences all the information you consume. And maybe it's not quite accurate, and maybe that's why you're working your ass and getting nowhere. Okay? Understanding how money works is the best thing I've ever done, and that's why I encourage everyone to do it. Of all the different forms of money, from physical property to physical gold, to stocks, to bonds, to currencies, to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the best form of money I've ever seen in my life, and it's really afforded me to live life on my terms. And that's why I encourage people. It's not going to make you rich overnight. Alright, forget about that. That's why people get attracted into crypto and they just stay poor. They get poorer, in fact, because they give their money to scammers. But if you actually put the time into Bitcoin, you set yourself, like I set myself a 10-year plan when I first started this journey. I didn't discover Bitcoin 10 years ago. I wish I did. It was a 10-year plan to early retirement and educating myself. And everyone underestimates what they can do in a year, or they overestimate what they can do in a year, or 6 months, or next month, or by the end of the week. You know, this short-term thinking, but they underestimate what they can do in a decade. And please God, we're all here in a decade. Touch wood, time's going to pass either way. So you might as well, you know, work on having a better future. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Come to Bitcoin Ireland 2023 and you will learn what a lot of us have done and are doing to secure our financial future, so we can work less and have more fun with our family and do what Bitcoin Dinny with Dinny's tagline has been, which is retire early. Obviously, if you want more bespoke service, you'd like to work with me individually, reach out. I'd be delighted to consult with you. That's what I do. I meet people and explain this to them in simple terms so they can understand and help them build a plan. You know, a safe investment plan into this asset so they can understand the risks. Okay, so it's not a case of just saying buy Bitcoin. That's just silly. Okay, you need to understand all the risks, and then you're able to understand what percentage exposure you need to, because it's different for everyone depending on what other assets you have, what stage of life you're in, and what you want to get out of this thing. And with that, geez, yeah, the old M50 is flowing along nicely now. Anyway, hit the like button, share, and for now I'll say Dinny out. Hopefully that was it. That was probably the worst way I've explained that, but anyway, I tried. In consulting, I stick to my clipboard, so things are a lot smoother. But hey, here we go. Have a good day, guys. Dinny out.